It's World War II, one of the most tragic, bloodiest conflicts the world has ever seen. But strange things have happened during this war, and today, one of the most unlikely alliances is formed in one of these strangest battles fought during this war in Austrian medieval castle. This is World War history. 5th of May, 1945. The Third Reich is in its death throes. From the east, the Soviet army is pushing into Germany and surrounding Berlin, whilst from the west, the American armies are also entering the country. The German forces are quite scattered now, many of them even having surrendered to either the Americans or the Soviets. But there are few who refuse to give in. These are members of the Waffen-SS, loyal to the Nazi cause past its end. In Austria, the Waffen-SS are marching along the streets, shooting at civilians who are waving Austrian and white flags out of their windows. The civilians are obviously doing this so that the American troops marching in will not shoot at them, but the Waffen-SS see these people as defeatists, ready to give up, and they will not accept it. However, this has given the Austrian resistance an opportunity to rise up. They have been quiet for a lot of this war, but now is their time to shine. They've got some unexpected allies on their side. But in Austria, there is another very significant location for today. Itter Castle. It was incorporated into one of the concentration camps in Austria by the SS. And today it is holding some very VIPs. That is not very important people, those are very important prisoners. Among these prisoners are former Prime Ministers of France, Edouard Daladier and Paul Reynaud, as well as French military commanders Maxime Weingard and Maurice Gamelin. There are also people like tennis star Jean Borotra and many others who I do not have listed here, but they will probably appear on the screen somewhere. Not entirely sure when or when, but probably about now. Now, the castle is currently under command of Edward Itter. I think I'm saying that right. Hopefully I am. He has been in command of this castle for a while now, but on the 2nd of May, a few days ago, he mysteriously died. I say mysteriously, we have sort of an idea. According to Paul Reynaud himself, Peter came in bragging about a bunch of executions he had ordered, then went and shot himself. Some historians think that he was actually shot by another SS officer for lack of national conviction or something like that. The truth, we do not actually know. But the command of the castle has now fallen onto Sebastian Wimmer. I think I'm saying that right as well. Forgive me if I am not. The castle, now under Wimmer's control, is, well, we don't actually know how it was going. We do know that Wimmer sent the handyman out, who I've got his name here, I just cannot pronounce it for the life of me. So it's probably up on screen somewhere here. You can try read it. You'll probably read it better than I can. But he sends the handyman out, and he does not return. Wimmer, now fearing for his life, takes that as his cue to leave the castle. The handyman has actually managed to reach up with the American forces. And he tells them of the situation in the castle. They try and get to it, but come under heavy shelling and are forced to pull back before being redirected somewhere else. This rescue mission is a failure. With both Peter and Wimmer gone, the castle now falls under control to, and I'm going to do my best to say his name correctly, Kurt Siegfried Schrader, another member of the Waffen-SS. But that is not all that he is. He is also a member of the Austrian resistance. How he got into the resistance is still unknown. And I know that photo we got up of him is a bit like, looks like he's looking straight down into your soul in that photo. But anyway, he is now in command of the castle, and the prisoners are very much free. But Schrader knows it's only a matter of time before the SS come marching in to either take the prisoners or execute them. His rank will only get him so far. He cannot guarantee their safety. So he comes up with a plan, another rescue mission that hopefully will work. On the 4th of May, so yesterday, Schrader sends the Czech cook from the castle, Andreas Krobot, to get to the nearby town and hook up with the Austrian resistance so that they can come save everyone. As he walks into town, he sees Waffen-SS troops, and they're about to discover him when he is suddenly pulled into a house to safety. The man who just saved him is none other than Josef Gangl. He has been a soldier in the Wehrmacht since the beginning and is now a high-ranking officer, but twist around here, he is also with the Austrian resistance. Now, we don't actually know how people like Gangl and Schrader really got into be with the Austrian resistance. We just know it happened somehow, somewhere down the line. So now, Krobot tells Gangl of the situation at the castle, and Gangl knows they're gonna need help. Not too far off, the 23rd Tank Battalion has rolled into town, and among them is the commander, John C. Lee. Now, he and his battalion have rolled into town, and they are not actually doing much at the moment. The fighting's down a lot. Like I said earlier, a lot of German troops have surrendered. So, not quite sure actually what they were doing at this point, when they saw a car heading towards them. Out from this car is a waving white flag. It pulls up in front of the battalion, and out gets Josef Gangl. He explains to Lee the situation, that there is a castle with very important French prisoners that at any time now is about to be stormed by the Waffen-SS and the prisoners possibly executed. Some of Lee's men are skeptical about this. Is Gangl trying to lead them into a trap? He is a German officer after all. Maybe he's trying to trap them and kill them all. But Lee makes the call. We're going on a rescue mission. The battalion is made up of 4 tanks, and they soon link up with the Austrian resistance. The resistance is largely going to stay in the city to stop the Waffen-SS where they can from terrorizing the civilians. Lee orders 2 of his tanks to stay beyond and reinforce them. The other 2 tanks will come with him, those being his own tank, Besotten-Jenny, and a second tank commanded by Harry Basser, I think I'm saying that surname right, by the name of Bolschbuster. The 2 tanks, along with Gangl and some of his men, begin heading towards the castle, but they soon come to a problem, a damaged bridge. Gangl and his men cross first. Obviously, they are the lightest. Then Lee and his tank Besotten-Jenny cross the bridge. It collapses shortly after their craft, leaving Basser and his tank behind. Lee tells them to wait there in reserve in case they need help. The rest of the force makes its way towards the castle, and eventually they arrive. In the castle, one of the most unlikely alliances of the Second World War is made. American troops and German troops mixed in with a Waffen-SS soldier. You cannot make that up. And it is just unbelievable that something like that actually happened, but it did. Schrader tells Lee and Gangl and their men what has been going on, and he has been seen Waffen-SS troops around the castle scouting it out, trying to find a way in. These troops are under command by, I think I'm saying this correct, Georg Bockmann. He has been seeing these troops circling the castle, trying to find a way in. Lee orders Jenny to be backed up towards the castle gate, turret facing out. The tank will provide them extra firepower. He then orders the VRPs into the castle stronghold for protection, that they would not get wounded during the battle. The atmosphere here is very uneasy. I mean, the Americans don't trust the Germans that they're not going to pull some kind of coup or something. With plans to defend the castle all set, everyone goes to bed. At 8 o'clock the next morning, 5th of May, the SS open fire. Everyone is awoken to the sound of their attack. Lee hears Basot and Jenny returning fire with its turret. Battle of Itter Castle has just begun. 30 minutes later, the SS bring in a 20mm gun and an 88mm gun. They open fire, the castle shakes. Bricks are falling and dust is coming from the walls. The battle is getting brutal, but the men do not let up and return fire. Then, a shell from the 88 cannon hits Basot and Jenny and the tank explodes. Well, it doesn't entirely explode, but ceases firing. The radio operator, who is the only member of the crew aboard at the time, quickly climbs out and retreats back into the castle before a second explosion destroys the tank. The men defending the castle have now lost their biggest advantage. Now, things have to change. The German soldiers are taken to the walls to defend them. SS soldiers are coming in with grappling hooks in an attempt to get in. They cut them down, or do their best to do so. Anyway, no SS get into the castle yet, whilst the American troops get into the keep to defend it. Seeing that their protectors need help, the VRPs take up arms and prepare to join them in battle. The fighting is intense. Here you have 36 men outnumbered by 150 to 200 Waffen-SS soldiers. Fighting goes on, each side trading fire. The SS continue to pound the castle with their 3 flak guns. Paul Reynaud is firing out of a window, but he is heavily exposed. Gungle sees this and runs over to him to help him out. The SS sniper can also see him and takes the shot. At the last minute, Gungle pushes Reynaud out of the way and is hit instead. He is unfortunately killed in that instant. But there is no time to mourn. The SS are pushing in closer and closer. Schrader takes Lee down to the castle's foe, where he calls the Austrian resistance. Shortly after the call starts, another flak shell hits the castle and the line goes dead. They are not sure if their call for help has been heard or not. With the SS closing in and now no way to call for help, the battle has become a fight to the death. Help is not coming. But maybe they have a chance of getting help. You see, tennis star Jean Barotra volunteers himself to vault the castle walls and link up with any American forces he can find in town. Most likely it would be Vassar and his group, who couldn't join them after the bridge collapsed, or the Austrian resistance along with the other 2 tanks. Lee agrees to this, and Barotra is dressed as just a normal Austrian citizen, just who would be walking through the forest or something like that. He vaults the wall, begins his journey, only to stumble upon the SS. It was a good thing he was disguised, because he manages to fool them. They don't suspect him at all. Maybe they were a bit suspicious, we don't know. But he gets into town. The battle continues. The SS's attack is more relentless than ever. Lee finally orders everyone to the keep as the SS start closing in and prepare to storm the castle. They hold out, but for how much longer can they hold out against this attack? Luckily for them, Barotra reaches the 142nd Infantry Division in town. Amongst them is a reporter who recognizes Barotra. He tells them everything about what's happening, how a Waffen-SS soldier is working alongside German and American troops to defend French prisoners within a castle. That sounds very absurd and very unlikely. He tells them this. They believe him. The infantry is moved in and arrives just in time. The SS are about to close in when they arrive. The SS scatter, many of them just surrendering there on the spot, whilst others retreat into the forest. Boukman finally surrenders his troops to the Americans. And because of this, because there was a reporter with them, we know that this story is actually all true. Of the 36 defending the castle, there was surprisingly only one dead, that being Josef Gungel, along with 4 others wounded. On the SS side, we do not actually know, but about 100 of the force were taken prisoner. Schrader would surrender himself to the Americans, and because of his cooperation in the defense of the prisoners, his sentence for being a part of the Waffen-SS was shortened by a lot. And so concludes one of the strangest battles in all of World War II, the Battle of Itter Castle. If you enjoyed this video and enjoyed history, I would highly suggest sticking around for more. We have more content planned, hopefully coming out soon. See you next time.